So already we've left Umbria behind us, but the south of Umbria, the major centre is the town of Terni. And Terni also is home to a very famous saint. Just before I tell you a bit about it, in 8 kilometres up ahead of us, a very impressive hilltop town, the town of Orte, is coming up. It will be on our right-hand side. It's a very, very impressive ancient town which looks almost like it's growing out of the rock on which it sits. It's been inhabited ever since the Etruscan times. Times during the 3rd century, the 200s, when Christianity was illegal, when the pagans, the Romans were pagan worshippers. They had a god for every aspect of life. Sacrifices were made to appease the gods to ensure success. And of course, Christianity in its first 3 centuries was very much an underground religion, an outlawed religion. Well, the middle of the 2nd, or the middle of the 3rd century was the time of the Emperor Claudius. And just like every emperor before him and after, his ambitions were to extend the borders of the Roman Empire further than they'd ever been extended before. But at a time also when people had become disinterested in the upkeep of the empire. Mainly men weren't interested in travelling thousands of kilometres away from home, thousands of miles as they were back then, away from home for Rome. They didn't want to leave their wives behind. Claudius had to come up with a solution to this problem. It was a pretty easy solution that he came up with, simply ban marriage. If the men can't have wives, then they're not going to miss them. Look, here's Orte coming up on our front right-hand side. A beautiful little town sitting on top of the rock. So Claudius bans marriage within the Roman Empire. So the legend has it. Bans marriage under the pagan marriage rituals. The Christians, these outlawed priests, continued to marry people. Very secretive affairs these little ceremonies were. In caves and dens by the flicker of a candlelight, just a couple and the marrying priest. They were always wary of who was outside, who might hear them. Because of course the punishment for this type of offence was death. And of course when by carrying out these rituals, by marrying people, the people still wanted to get married. And when they could only do it as Christians, the Christian priests were converting these people to Christianity. Converting a lot of people. There's Orte up on our right-hand side. A-O-R-T-E, Orte. Well, while you've got your cameras out, ladies and gents, there's a very quick photo opportunity coming up. You have to be very good to get this one. I know a lot of you already will have lots of photos of passing trucks and trees. It's coming up on the right-hand side. And don't worry, because when we return from Sorrento next week, we come exactly back this way. If you're unsuccessful this time, you'll have another opportunity. But it's a statue which comes up, a statue which is called the Madonna degli Autisti. It's the Madonna of the drivers, blessing the drivers. Statue of the Madonna. She stands there with her arms reaching out towards us, blessing everyone as they approach Rome. So she comes up very soon. Just degli Autisti, you need to know how your camera works to the split second, how that timer works. This is a true test of an amateur photographer's skill. She's coming up now on the right, just past the exit. We see the Orte exit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here she is. Grazie, Madonna. Carry them out. Even though Christianity was outlawed during these centuries, it did still have its structure. You know, St. Peter, the founder of the church, is Continued to carry out these marriage rituals, and it was while he was carrying one out that Roman legions came across this outlawed ceremony and had Valentino arrested. He was taken to Rome, where he was put on trial, and of course the punishment for carrying out these rituals, for being a practicing Christian and a Christian priest, were death. Carrying out these illegal marriage ceremonies, taken down to Rome, where he was put on trial and sentenced to death. In the days and the weeks leading up to his execution date, Valentino, who I say was much loved in Terni and was a very charismatic character, and the people, even the jailer, befriended Valentino, and in particular the daughter of the jailer, who would come every day to visit with Valentino, spend some time with him before she went off for her schooling. And on the day of Valentino's execution, she'd arranged to meet up with him before his execution. She was held up for whatever reason, and when she arrived already Valentino was gone. And in his place in the cell, just a single red rose and a note which said, "From your Valentine." And on the 14th of February in the year 269, Valentino was executed. He had his head chopped off. And they say that having had his head chopped off, his head then rolled 70 miles from Rome back to Terni. And it's there now that his head is still, his body and his head, in the Basilica of San Valentino. His head went missing for a few years in the late 1980s. Somebody stole the head, turned up again a few years later underneath a park bench. And they ended up putting him back into the Basilica. But of course that day, the execution date of Valentino, like with the execution dates of so many of the early Christian martyrs, became the feast day of Saint Valentine. And of course he's known throughout the world as the patron saint of lovers. So next time you get that big bunch of fresh red roses, ladies, on Valentine's Day, you know a little bit about where that comes from.
We just arrived in Roma, Rome. This is our hotel here. Our aircon in the bus has failed, so look at this bar. Okay, we're in hotel in Rome, in Roma. Just had to wait a little bit to get our get ready pretty quick. Not much of you. Cities.